All right. Hoorah, 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 everybody. We're back. The last night of the Final Four. Last night we saw Jason the Mash and Drum versus Leanne Scotch on the Bayou. I won't ruin it at this point about who won. Spoiler alert may come up later in the show. This is the Final Four of the SMWS Malt Madness Epic Blind Challenge. We started with 8 YouTube whiskey tubers. Last week we saw Jason advance over Jacques, the Hood Sommelier. We saw Leanne Scotch on the Bayou take down the Scotch Drew and Mark from the Scotch Test Dummies. We saw Bart from the Scotch Test Dummies take down Bill, the Whiskey Dick. And then we saw Dan from the Bourbon Junkies win versus Rob, Whiskey in the Six. So last night was Jason, the Mash and Drum, versus Leanne. Tonight, we've got the follow-up match with Bart from the Scotch Test Dummies versus Dan from the Bourbon Junkies. The winner from last night will face the winner from tonight, next Friday night, in the championship for a $1,000 SMWS gift card. I've got 4 blind samples I sent to Bart and Dan. They are SMWS casks, completely blind. They'll go through, they're going to nose, they're going to taste, they're going to give their best shot at the age, the ABV, cask type, and the region. They'll score points for correct guesses in those categories. And then for extra credit points in case of a tiebreaker, they'll attempt to guess the flavor profile of the whiskey and the distillery that the whiskey is from. So, joining me from the Scotch Test Dummies, he wears goofy hats, goofy shirts. He's loud, he's proud, and he's not afraid to say it.
We're going to test it! Got to get it out of the way right off the bat.
What's up, Bart?
What's happening? That was a heck of an intro. This is my lucky hat.
That we've had a show discussion on that hat, and I think it's too small for your head.
Nope, that's military issue. I got this when I was in the Army.
I was going to say, you claim you've had that since you were 18, and it still fits you.
That's right. My head has not gotten any bigger.
And coming in from Michigan from the Bourbon Junkies. Last week I said he's part of the movie Escanaba in the Moonlight. Ooh. He's been busy all day, him and Sean with the Bourbon Junkies. They need 3 interns they're looking to hire. It doesn't pay very well.
It pays only whiskey, nothing else. I will hang out with you. I'm not pitching that as a benefit. 100% that's a negative. You may leave solely because of that.
Do you offer sleeping quarters for them and transportation?
We work with Helix, so we'll just throw a Helix mattress in the castle here, and you can just sleep on that. You don't even have to leave. It's perfect.
All right. Well, you both did good last week, besting your opponent, so to say. The only thing for those watching, if you didn't watch last night, the difference from last week, so they'll get a point for whoever's closest to the age. They'll get a point for the region. They'll get a point for the ABV if they're plus or minus within 2 points, a 2-point range on the ABV. So if it's a 56 ABV, they have to be 54 to 58 on their ABV guess. Cask type, they have to nail on the head. If it's a first fill ex-bourbon barrel, they have to say it's a first fill ex-bourbon barrel, and they'll get 1 point. If they say ex-bourbon barrel, they'll get half a point because they were in the genre of whiskey used to age the whiskey. So it depends on how picky they want to try to be with their barrel guess. So, and then same with a double cask maturation. They'll have to get for 2 points. They would have to get both casks spot on, or a half a point for the genre of the whiskey. Like if they say ex-bourbon and ex-sherry, and it's a first fill ex-bourbon barrel and a first fill Oloroso butt, they would get a half a point for the bourbon guess, half a point for the sherry guess. But if they nail those on the head, they'll get the full point for each. So any questions before we get going? Everything's the same from last week, like I say, except for the plus or minus 2 points now on the ABV.
Can I let them start breathing?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and open them up. And Pour them. You can pour them one at a time, or you can pour all 4 of them right now if you want to.
I just poured all 4 in the background, so me and Bart will actually be pretty close on them actually being in the glass here. I gotta say that the rule change when I could have scored another point last week seems a little conspiracy-esque. You know what I mean? You bring a channel in here with bourbon in the name and then immediately rule us out. And I would like to throw out that if I lose tonight, Scotch Test Dummies, it's the name, right? Like, listen, it's a bourbon thing. We use Scotch thing. If I lose, it's just I'm supposed to lose. Now, that being said, I'm super competitive and 100% want to win, so.
Yeah, I think you'll probably win just because you like to drink the entire sample.
Listen, last week I got through like sample 3 and I'm like, this is incredible. I don't know what we're doing here. You want me to write down some words? This is fantastic.
Yeah, from the ones last week, the only one that took a real hit was I kept sipping on that. I kept sipping on that Isla, but yeah, I've had these SMWS ones catch me before because you'd be like, wow, what is this? 52%. And then you're like 65. And I'm like, oh my God.
100%. It is like that's it. So I haven't drank any whiskey today because yesterday Sean and I shot like 6 or 7 Advent days. And then I streamed last night on Whiskey Row for a Make-A-Wish Foundation stream. And so today I was like, my body's like, hey man, if you could just take a second and just maybe we do water and like, I don't know, a liquid IV or something. You know what I mean? Well, so then we're sitting here and I was getting the glasses and I'm like, oh no, you can't do a blind on no whiskey. Like it's the worst idea of all. It just never works or whatever. So I went and got this Scotch malt bottle and I took one drink and I'm like, what is the proof? And I looked at it, I'm like, it's 15. It's basically 60%. And I'm like, I thought it was like 50, which would have been a huge problem.
Yeah.
So
that is tough with these bottles.
I need to, before we start, the only thing I need to do is I need to pull up the color scheme. We're still doing the flavor profiles, right? For the,
yeah.
Okay.
That's for the extra credit for in case
I just need to pull that up just so I can get them all wrong real quick.
That's fine. And while you guys are working on sample, go ahead and start on sample A, nosing and tasting. I'll go through, do a little bit of a roll call here for everybody that's watching. I see Luke Stevens is here. Northwoods Whiskey Nerds, Big Dog, Bird Dog, Mamuka 1977, Dunny, Joe Combs, Peter B, Roscoe P. Coltrane. Was it Roscoe P. Coltrane or just Roscoe Coltrane? Roscoe P. Coltrane. You guys know what that's from?
No.
Yeah, Dukes of Hazzard, baby.
Dukes of Hazzard. That's right.
Oh no. See, I'm not that young, but I'm not that old. You know what I mean?
Duke, baby.
I see George Kaplan tuning in. Austin Ludwig, Brandon Sprague. Brandon Sprague says, as the unofficial BJ's intern, gotta say the whiskey is worth it and the floor isn't so cold.
If we had an intern, Brandon would be the closest thing to the word intern for sure.
I see AB Cigars Alec tuning in. Leanne, Scotch on the Bayou, is here. Good job last night, Leanne. Lady K tuning in again. Craig W. Sean Paisley. I won't give you a timeout tonight, Sean.
Not yet. Don't say you won't, just not yet.
I gave in to pack mentality last week, Sean. Sorry about that.
It was appreciated. I needed the morale boost last week.
Lucas Shower is here. Shower. T. Roy, Tommy D, Big Ed. Welcome, everybody.
Oh, okay.
Bart's encouraging Dan to drink all of his samples.
Yeah, you got to really dive in order to get the full experience.
Bart, do you think that just off the top of your head, since we're basically teammates through this whole thing and we want to see one another succeed, this is obviously an Isla. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was like a P-Claude hitting you in the face.
So I was giving Jason a hard time last night, and I was like, I'll go on tomorrow night and I'll lose, but it'll be a good time. And Jason goes, you just got to talk Bart into it. Like, you got to convince him of something that's not right, that isn't right. And if you can do that, then maybe have a chance. And I'm like, I don't think so either way. So
I've got a tip. I'm going through and I'm writing down on nose alone, and then I'm using the taste to see if it is strong enough to change it. But it's like the old bubble tests. Unless you're 100% sure, you don't change your entry.
I like that. I like that mentality. That's a great idea.
So boom. But I'll probably go down in flames.
But the thing is what ends up usually happening is you start when you second guess, you like scratch something. That next guess was wrong. Yeah. First guess was often more right. So no, the philosophy is perfect.
I did do one change. I just erased the region and changed the region on taste. We'll see if I'm right.
Oh man, we're already second. Okay, do you hedge when you do these? Do you hedge things? If you could say, man, I think it's finished and it's probably got like a bourbon, but there's a little wine there. Maybe I'll say that it's just wine, then I'll go to a different region than I think it is because maybe it's throwing it off as a hedged bet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, what kills me is hitting the second fill refill. I think that's a toss up. That's so hard.
Yeah, I do too.
And then is it a double maturation? If you pull one of those off, I'll probably just throw the white flag in and disconnect.
If somebody in this whole thing, and maybe they already have, I don't know, but like this one, the one I drank was a X Oloroso butt and then a first fill X PX Sherry butt, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody just headshot that right away, it's like I don't need to be here anymore. You're right, 100%.
Yeah, that would be a level that when I'm thinking I'm picking up the ex bourbon barrel, sure. But like the hogshead versus the barrel, and then, if you pull out like, and they scraped it and recharred, I'll be like, God dang. I'll be like, how did you do that?
I think the barrel versus hogshead, that's complete guessing most of the time. The first and second fill, sometimes you can tell. I had one that I picked out. I was like, that's a second fill or a refill cask. Just from some of the notes that you get. But it's tough.
This is a hard one right here, but I think I'm ready. I'm locked in. Hold on. What I didn't do was I forgot the tiebreaker. Let me get that tiebreaker going.
And there is a possibility as well. Last week was complete randomness. This week may or may not be. There may or may not be one or two hand-selected bottles in this 4 sample set that you guys received that may throw you.
What does that mean?
This is already throwing me, and so I didn't need the mental warfare aspect is not even welcomed. Like it's not necessary. It's not welcome.
Right. Yeah. I picked one that's going to totally jack with Bart. Oh, what? What are you talking
about? And I said it last night though too. I'll say it again. Bart, I really didn't think you would advance last week.
Well,
here we are.
Bart will tend to outthink himself. His initial impressions, a lot of times, like he said, are correct. He's got to stick with them, but sometimes he'll outthink himself. Yeah, but yeah.
All right, I am good to go.
I'm ready as well.
Sean says, check your mic, Dan. Your input seems a little off.
Does it sound weird?
Oh, yeah, that mic's not on.
Now
it is.
There we go.
There we go.
You know what, Sean? You were right on not timing Sean out tonight. He saved us bad audio. You know what I mean? Imagine if we would have timed him out right away. We just never. I'd have just been on. I don't even know what microphone that was on. So.
Now, I will tell you, and it's up to you guys. Jason and Leanne both last night, they really sat there kind of talking to each other and really discussing things that they were getting. But yeah.
I'm more than willing to discuss what we're getting on them after I'm very wrong and Bart like headshots on them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love bringing that out as I'm describing like the year or what I think the distillery is going to be.
I like that.
And I was convinced Whiskey Dick was more right as he explained stuff. I was like, yeah, I missed that. And then sometimes I did. So
you guys got all your answers down?
Yeah.
yes.
Are we ready? So yeah, and by the way, we did last week we did have, a double header, 2 competitions in a row. We were trying to keep them at an hour just for time's sake. Tonight it's just you guys. If you guys go for 45 minutes or an hour and 15, it's just at your own pace and as we go. I don't want to rush you. So take your time with these. I think last night was actually about an hour and 15 minutes for them to get through the 4 samples. So
I'm already lost on sample number 1 or A, so I'm completely lost.
Dan, how old is it?
It's probably exactly 12 years old.
Ooh. I have 11 years old.
Oh man, that was it was between, I almost scratched 12, went to 11 to because then I could get a 9 in there,
I know.
The age isn't within 2 years, it's just closer. Okay, I don't have to think like that.
Yeah. Bart, region.
I picked Highland. I'm getting a little hint of smoke.
I picked Highland as well.
Mm.
Dan, ABV.
59.
Ooh, this will be nice. I'm at 61.
No way. I swear to God, I scratched out 61 and went down to 59. If it's 61, I quit. I withdraw myself from the competition.
And I was debating if I should go, since we did the 1 point ABV last week, and I think only 1, maybe 2 people got it. I was debating how to score the ABV, and I kind of thought about going with whoever was closest. But then I thought we'd have like the Price is Right thing going where you'd say 60 and then Bart would come in 60.1.
Right. Well, I have written all of this down. So I write it down all ahead of time so that I'm not writing while we're actually doing the game and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, I did the same thing. I locked them in.
Yeah. Bart, what's our cask type here?
So I went second fill bourbon hogshead.
Oh, specificity.
Yeah. Dan?
Sounds impressive.
I went first fill X bourbon barrel.
Mm.
Flavor profile, Dan.
I think this is where I'm like, I hedged it a little bit because I went with Highland, but I went lightly peated.
Yeah. See, it's weird. I've got my little chart. Yeah, this one's weird. And I went with oily and coastal.
I like that guess a lot. I really do. I wrote down for tasting notes, I wrote peppery and then I wrote tropical. And so the oily and coastal popped in on the tropical note for me.
Bart, any guess on distillery?
I get a little bit of a creamy, malty Highland. And so I just threw down Tomatin.
Dan?
I'd like to preface my guess with I won't get a single distillery right. I just went with Bunnahabhain. We're blanket stating distilleries for me tonight, and they're going to be random distilleries all night.
Hey, you got.
I don't know Scotch distilleries almost at all. I'm awful at it.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
So I'm telling you there's a chance.
All right. We're looking at cask number 55.70. It's a spicy and sweet.
Dang it.
15 years old. That distillery is Royal Brockla.
Ooh.
A Speyside.
Dang it.
Our cask type. Oh my God. There's no way. Second fill X bourbon hogshead.
Boom, baby.
I mean, well done.
57.7. I thought that was a ridiculous guess too. Actually, I thought Dan was right with first fill bourbon barrel.
I get a lot of bourbon vanilla notes on the nose, which is the reason I went down the bourbon trail with that. But
57.7% ABV.
I get a proof point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I redeemed myself on sample 1 on the first sample.
All right. So Dan, you get a point for the age at 12 years. It's a Speyside, so neither one of you got the region. Dan, you got the point on the ABV. Cask type, Bart gets a full point. Dan, you got a half a point you still had it in the bourbon barrel range. Spicy and sweet, nobody. And distillery was Royal Brockla, so nobody got any extra credit points on that one.
Mm.
How about the fact that we just had the literally 45 seconds ago, the conversation from Bart saying, if somebody ever gets these things right, and then Bart's like, mic drop, walks
That's
off
right.
camera.
That's right. I'm gone, baby. Now I'm going to lose. I'm going to lose on everything else.
That was wild. That's so funny. We just had that whole conversation, and Scott was literally like, damn it, Bart literally got it exactly on.
Yeah, he's sitting there going, here's what he usually does when I talk, blah, 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 blah. That's what he's usually doing to me.
It's like the Snoopy teacher.
Yes. Well, you did good, though, man, nailing that ABV and catching that year. Nicely done.
Dan gets 2.5 points. Bart gets 1 point on that round.
I do like the because all the Scotch malt stuff is age stated that way, or almost all of it basically. Because of that, it does make like the age, the over under, or the closest to age thing. It makes it so much more fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you can't do that in bourbon because half, 3/4 of bourbon's not age stated, and then some of it is, but then it's blends, and there's a 3-year and a 15-year, and it's 3-year-old whiskey and whatever. But
all right, sample number 2.
This one looks like a Scott lover here.
This that is not even remotely close to the same color as any of the other whiskeys on the desk here.
It's going to mess with me too. We're in his world here. Jesus.
I can't believe that first one was a space side, by the way. That's ridiculous.
I know. That's what I scratched out.
Was it really? No.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
Everybody's commenting that I've got a great poker face. I try not to give, you guys try to get stuff out of me. I don't give it up. Nope.
That's true.
God, I wanted to say so much, but I
yeah. We'll just leave it.
We'll just leave it.
I was waiting for you to go, nope, nope.
I'm drinking along with you guys. So I had the first one. I could see where, and when, Dan, did you think that one was lightly peated?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see where you get that. I mean, there's definitely a malty, almost a toasted character with it. So
it's just like, it was like that hint of smoke and a little bit of pepper. And those two things combined, there was all like the oil and coastal fit in my brain too, because it was like, I almost get like a seaweed-y note on it, which I don't often get on space sides, and I often get on a peated Highlander and Isla or something like that. But
well, and that pepper, it is spicy and sweet. A lot of our spicy and sweet profiles, that pepper, will kind of show through.
I don't know if people can. Okay, real quick, I gotta show people. Sample A looked like that.
Here, hold on just a second. I'll highlight you.
Okay. For the people watching on their phone, that's what sample A looked like. This is what sample B looks like. It's like 14 shades darker than sample A.
That's beautiful.
It is. Man, it's so. I get like a teriyaki note on it, which is so weird.
Studious. Everybody's studying.
Yeah, that one's weird.
I don't, if I'm being completely honest right now, don't have a single guess on region based on drinking that like 3 times. Like that one is quite like throwing me for a loop.
Yeah.
Ooh. For those watching as well while they're drinking, in the past when we've done these, we've made like a Google sheet that we've shared in the chat for those watching to see what they're tasting. Since there was $1,000 gift card on the table on this one, we decided not to share these whiskeys. I'm the only one that knows what they are.
That's good.
And it removes the any accusations of cheating, and allows you guys to look at the comments as well too. So, because if we put it in the comments, we have to ask you guys to turn off comments and not watch. And
and honestly, sorry, go ahead, Bart.
Nope, sorry, you go. I keep comments off.
The honestly, if I was, I was gonna call Jason a cheater last night, and I remembered there's no way to cheat. Yeah, he told me he got 2 distilleries, and I'm like, obviously we're back to Jason cheating again, and I'm like, there's literally not a like I asked him, I go, how much do you have to pay Scott to get the answers ahead of time? He said $400. I said maybe I'll talk to Scott. That's what I said.
I didn't get nothing in the mail today.
Oh, he lied. Now he's losing the finals at least. So.
Yeah, it was Venmo.
Yeah.
Man, this is a weird one. Dang it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I feel like from a region perspective, I'm just completely in the weeds. I don't have like an educated guess at all on the region part of this one.
Really, you got a 20% chance because there's only 5 main regions: Highlands, Speyside, Lowlands, Campbelltown, and Islay.
That one I absolutely love. That whiskey is absolutely incredible. I think it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The one you're on now?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that one. It's like sticky. It's so viscous. It's like it's sticky. It's great. It's so weird and in such a great way.
Man, I almost erased the ABV, but I'm going to leave it.
I scratched it one time.
Man.
Listen, I've scratched age, ABV, started writing a region, didn't even finish it, scratched it and wrote a different. Like this one, I'm all over the place on this one.
The best way to tell ABV is to take a big old swig of it.
From the sample bottle, Dan. You want to just start drinking from the sample.
Yeah. And then what you want to do is you want to gargle next. And as long as you can. And
a lot of swishing.
Yes.
Yeah, you want a lot of swishing.
Yeah.
Luke Stevens points out, he says it's really, you got a 25% chance on the region if you can eliminate Islay.
I know, but the problem is like we just had the first one, both Bart and I both got a little bit of smoke on it, which isn't often found in a Speyside, like a normal Speyside or a classic Speyside. And so then in theory, you would have eliminated Speyside because it wasn't as sweet and it was like a little smoky. So I think like the problem is like you can have non-peated Islas, right? And then, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just so incredibly difficult.
Yep. And this one, see, Scott, you said you hand-picked some. That means you picked hard ones. I know you. Look at that.
B is hard. I don't know what it is, but it's incredibly difficult. So
they're all hard, but yeah, I'm ready whenever you are, Dan.
I'm good. I have written and set the pen down.
All right, Bart, it's your turn. How old is it?
10 years.
Oh man. Oh, we have such a large gap. Mine's at 17.
Ooh, I'm going to tell you.
I scratched 16 and went to 17.
Well, that's good. We're going to meet in the middle. You could have gamed me and said 11.
I hope it's not 13 and a half points or years.
If it is, we'll half it.
Yeah, we'll just each take a half.
Dan, what region?
I said Speyside.
Me too.
I think it's tricky. I think this is tomfoolery.
Yep.
Scott has 100% set us up to fail. Let it be known.
Yep.
This is probably not. This is probably an unpeated Islay that was finished in a freaking rye barrel or something. Like
Bart, is that right? Let me see. Yeah, Bart, ABV.
60, right on the head.
Dan.
I wrote 63. So 62 is what I scratched, and I went up 1 because I'm like, every time I drink, I'm like, it's warm. It's definitely warm.
I know. I almost moved it up myself. I was going to bump it up to a 61 because I thought I got a little heat in the.
Yeah.
You're going to get that again, I think.
I don't know. I don't know if there's like a nice warm spice.
Yes.
And then there's also the proof, which is definitely relatively high.
Yep.
And so there's some form of differentiation, like trying to separate the two, I think. But
what's our cask type, Dan?
I went with an X Sherry Hogshead.
Yeah. Now here's
double matured or exclusive maturation there.
Exclusive. I should have went doubled. I'm gonna stick with my first. I'll go exclusive.
All right. And this is where I think he got tricky. I think this is a double maturation. I think at first you've got a refill bourbon barrel, and then I think it's spent like 8 months in a first fill Oloroso. That's what gave it the color, which is freaking me out because I'm thinking it's got to be older. But then something tasted a little young, and I think he picked the double maturation here.
First fill Oloroso. Do you want to be more specific? You're not quite done. I mean, like, would it be a Oloroso butt, an Oloroso head,
a butt,
barrel, a butt? All right, so that's specific. First fill Oloroso butt.
Oh man, wait till this is like 6 years old and I put 11 years on top of it. You know?
No, you're probably right here. You're probably right.
All right, Bart, flavor profile.
So this one freaked me out. I just went with your Dirtiff, that deep, rich, dried fruits, and I picked Glenrothes.
Oh, you and I were relatively close on at least in the color wise. I went with Old and Dignified because it just matched the age guess that I gave it. That was the only reason, honestly. I do get like the dried fruit aspect of it though, so that would actually make sense in my head. I said Glenlivet.
God, that one, I just got a ton of flavor with a little bit of water in there. I think I effed up.
I genuinely believe that whatever that is, that whiskey, I mean, that could be a 6-year-old. That's fantastic. It's really fantastic. It's complex. It's oily. It's great.
That is good.
You're close. It's an 8-year-old.
Ooh.
44.147, which is Craigellachie. Great Craigellachie's.
Ooh.
Called Worm Cinders. It's a Speyside.
Hey, we did it.
147. Our ABV on this one, 67.9% ABV. Dan was right. It's a hot one, but he even came in low at 63.
It is hot. I mean, that's almost hazmat scotch. That's wild.
It is a double maturation, but exclusively first fill Oloroso butts. So we went from one Oloroso butt, first fill Oloroso butt, to a second first fill Oloroso butt.
That's trickery.
It is.
Nope.
I thought it was in some refill bourbon barrel for a long time. Didn't pick up a lot of flavors, so they threw it in a first fill Oloroso for 7 to 8 months just to punch it up a little bit.
It's good. I do believe that we both got Speyside and sherry to the extent of it being a sherry.
Well, and it's deep, rich, and dried fruits. You
got the tiebreaker so far. Then
I'm going to need it.
Tiebreaker.
I got a count.
Bart gets the age with his 10-year guess. You both get a point for the Speyside region. Dan was close with ABV, but he was still off 4.7, so no point there. Dan, you get a half a point for the ex-sherry Hogshead guess. I mean, it is a sherry. It's an Oloroso. Bart, you get 1 point for you had a double maturation, completely wrong on the first cask, but the second cask is a first fill Oloroso butt. So you get 1 point there.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's better than the backhanded compliment of, listen, you got it right, but you're an idiot. Okay.
Yeah. Refill bourbon barrel. No.
Oh man. We both picked up the sherry and we both got the region, so we've both improved realistically.
Yes. Yeah, I'm happy with what we did there.
So 1.5 points for Dan on that one. 1, 2, 3 points for Bart.
We're tied up.
Bart,
you're gonna beat me on these.
And Bart got the extra credit in case of the tiebreaker point right now.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna. You're doing fabulous.
You're gonna beat me out on these. Like the barrels, the finishing. You're like you've actually nailed the finishing twice now, except the bourbon part. But we're just excluding it because you got the full point anyways. But
this C one looks lighter. I'm excited. I'm hoping for an Isla.
Is that, Bart, is Isla your favorite region generally? I know that's like a loaded question. But okay.
Yeah, I'm an Ardbeg lover.
Oh, I'm with you. How have you felt about the committee releases recently?
Well,
maybe I rephrase it. That might be too broad?
No, you're good. For a while there, I was chasing them, and then I actually burned out on it.
Okay.
And Scott gave me a lot of hell because I was like, you know what? Their core range is fabulous. The 10, all of it is just, their core range is so good, but their Supernova was fantastic.
Did you know which one I actually, probably one of my favorite ones that's come out in a minute is the Ardbeg, the pirate one. That one like fulfilled every want that I had out of a committee release because it had like this cool sweetness in the back. I got like a weird pineapple note, which I loved, but it still kept the Ardbeg part of it. And I was so happy with the Ardbeg one.
Yeah. Dang it.
Man, hey Scott, you couldn't have thrown one in here that we just smell and go, yep, that's it. You know what I mean? Just one.
I don't know what you guys know.
Clearly, I know far less than you think I know.
Scuba Summer tuning in again tonight. She's having Ardcore right now. We didn't get to try that one. We got Scorch. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
Yep.
I was not impressed with that one.
Nope, me neither.
Yeah, I did not like Scorch.
I was actually super excited for Scorch.
Me too.
And then I bought it and I drank it and I'm like, I don't know how often I'll reach for that. Like, I think I'd reach for other ones before I grab that one again.
Dang it.
Bart's perplexed.
Yep.
Do you guys like the Lagavulin 12 cast strength series?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had like the newer ones that they put the animals on with the lion and
Goodness, sorry.
that's what happens to me when I drink all the samples. Man,
the 2017 Lagavulin 12 year was a great addition.
yeah, that
But
one was incredible.
See, I think they 2020. I don't think they released one because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have one last year, 2021 or 2022 even?
Last year was the lion, or they took the year off and then they switched to the animals and they put them in boxes.
Huh.
So now I think there's like a eagle or a hawk on the newest one. I think, or a phoenix or something. There's a lion on the one previous.
Jason Mash and Drum wants to know who he's going up against. We've got a tie right now. After we're on the third sample. We're tied up at this point.
Jason, I told Scott that you paid him $400 for answers, and he said you never paid him. I just want you to know that.
This was tough.
And Jason Coates is pointing out that Lagavulin 12 is always killer. He said the 2019 didn't come to the U.S. for some reason. So
I had to order. I think I got it from like Master and Malts or whatever that, like one of those websites that like ship over here.
Yeah, I haven't even seen. You're talking about the ones in the boxes with animals. I've never seen any of those.
I've only got those from that website.
Man.
All right. You ever feel like your mouth needs a second?
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard Bart say that.
I literally said that, and Scott just smirked, and I'm like, I feel like my phrasing might have been slightly off on that. Different time for a different day.
Yeah, same, Jason. He hasn't seen one in Kansas since 2018. The 12-year Lagavulins. Same, not down here either.
It's another tricky one here, Scott.
It is.
No trickery.
Oh my God, we got carolers out our front door. If you hear people singing jingle bells, that's what's going on.
Just a little welcoming music.
Yeah.
Bring them down.
Yeah.
Bart's the Grinch. He's like, oh my God, we got carolers. Run them off. Turn the lights off.
Well, I'm doing a show, so the whole family knows I'm doing a show, and I hear the doorbell. I'm like, what the heck? Who's ringing the doorbell? Get the sword. Get the sword.
Oh. You know what the problem is? The problem is when you drink water while you're drinking whiskey, the next drink of whiskey is immediately like 100 million % ABV lower. You know what I mean? It's just like way softer. And so then you got to drink the whiskey twice as much if you drink water in between, but it also does like kind of refresh everything a little bit. It's like a double-edged sword.
Right. God, I think I'm going to miss the region on this one.
Me too.
Hold on. I think I hear Noel.
Big Dog says, release the dogs. Bart has a dog, but all that thing do is run around and...
Oh, no, she's digging holes now. You know what she's been doing is tearing up all my weed preventer and running around like she's got a new toy. All I can see is a lot of work come spring. Man, you're going to go ahead on this one, Dan.
I don't think so. I really don't. Because I think the problem is I'm having a really hard time with the region like you are. Because I feel like I realistically get like 3 regions a little bit. And
I know. I'm bouncing back and forth, and then I even went into an obscure one, and I'm like, quit doing it. Quit doing it.
Speaking of Christmas, though, I don't know if you guys noticed, I do have a Christmas tree back here now tonight.
Yours looks as more proportional than mine.
My girlfriend said I needed to put my tree up in the background.
Ooh. I love that. I feel like it. You know what you need is some more. You need light so it's brighter.
Yes. Yeah, you need some colored ones on there too.
It blends in with the Scotch malt bottles because they're also green.
Yeah.
My tree is literally so fat. Like yours is just the correct tree size. Yours looks like a tree. Mine looks like I just got a bunch of branches and made a circle. You know what I mean?
I'm going to get like a Festivus pole.
Just one.
Yeah.
Where are you, Dan? You must be in your office.
So this is in the same building as the live stream set, but this is I'm sitting at my computer. All I have to do is move a capture card when I sit right here and do it. So I streamed from here last night too. But it is a little bit more comfortable, like sitting in here with the computer screens and stuff.
I think I'm ready because this one's, I think, might be painful for me.
I'm not ready, and I don't think I have a single one right. So,
yeah, this one's, I'm lost.
Yeah. I feel like I went into Narnia, found this bottle of whiskey, came out, and they were like, nobody knew anything about it. Like,
talk through it, Bart. How come you're lost?
I added water, hoping to dial in a little bit more. It's got this lighter color, but the flavor was a little more punchy than I expected. I'm getting a citrus flavor. And then I thought I had the region, but then I picked up something that I thought would be from this other region, but then I added water and I got a third region. And then I was like, damn it. And now I'm like, So what I'm going to do is stick with what I wrote down from the nose, but I won't be surprised. The only thing, no, I don't think you could say any region and I wouldn't be surprised. I'd just be like, yep, that's what it was.
Brandon Sprague says this is 100% the least confident I've ever seen Dan.
Ooh.
Yeah, true. Here's the problem. This is not an excuse. This is a problem, not an excuse. The problem is like we drink bourbon so much that when we do bourbon blinds, things seem more familiar, right? It's just comfortable, right? And so then when you go into Scotch blinds, which are way harder than bourbon blinds, even if you're into Scotch, but you expand that spectrum of like options by 50,000 fold or whatever it actually is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was actually trying to come up with a game for the channel, but we can't do it with bourbon, but we could do it with Scotch because I was trying to come up with a game where like Sean and I play this game and then we guess, like somebody just serves us something, we guess where it's from. But with bourbon, it's like, what are we going to guess? It's from Washington or it's from Michigan. It's like, it's all corn, rye, barley, and it's probably in a new barrel, right? So it doesn't really match, but like with Scotch, it's 100% that way where you're like, listen, it could be one of these 5, or it could be a single malt from Ireland, or it could be a single malt from, like wherever Kavlan's from, or it could be, like right. The single malt industry has so many more options that it just adds the complexity parts to it. But
see, this has a beautiful nose on an empty glass too. I love this.
I get the most. The only thing I don't have written down, I think, is finish. I get the or barrel. It's like the most tropical thing on planet Earth. Like.
Yep. I just started picking up a lot of like touch of pineapple.
Yes, and mango.
Yeah, and that's
my glass is empty. I drank it all, and now I'm smelling the empty glass, and it's more tropical in the empty glass, which is a problem.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, the empty glass is way more tropical.
Which makes the finish harder, it feels like, if I'm being completely honest.
All right, I'm ready to get the paint over, but I'll let you get your guesses.
Nope, I'm good. Yeah, I'm writing down the finish right now. And then, okay, I'm good to go. I'm done writing.
All right. Dan, how old is it?
9.
Ooh.
9er.
I put 11.
Oh, I like that. We're close.
Bart,
to each other.
Space side, I think I'm wrong.
Dan?
Okay, I have mine written down. I wrote Campbelltown. When you say you think you're wrong, what would your second guess be?
That's where I started to either go with like creamy lowland, or I thought I got a little whiff of heather thinking it would be a highland. But I first went with the space side, and then that's when I was like, God dang. And then I thought, I can't chase it. I'll just stick with the original.
Sure.
What's our ABV, Dan?
64. I think that one's warm. I scratched 62, scratched 63, stopped at 64. I'm like, I got to stop. This is crazy.
I wrote 62 and stuck.
Oh my gosh, we were so close.
All right. You ready for cast type?
Yep, cast type.
I went with second fill bourbon barrel. Second fill bourbon barrel.
Dan?
I wrote the exact same thing. I wrote second fill bourbon barrel, normal bourbon barrel, not hogshead.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm getting vanillas is why.
Yes. Yeah, outside of the tropical aspect, there are bourbony notes to it, but it's still really light, which makes me think it's not a first fill ex bourbon barrel, because color wise, I drank mine all, but color wise, it's fairly light, honestly.
Right.
Flavor profile, Dan.
I wrote juicy oak.
And
vanilla. Sorry. Yep.
I'm in the same color range. I put light and delicate. And I picked Glen Moray.
I wrote Glen Scotia.
We both got a Glen.
I don't even know where Glen Scotia's at. Swear to God.
I have not been to that one.
Me neither. Oh, I just saw a green court. Scott's a liar. Bart, do you want to come in on me with this? The Scott is literally lying to us.
Dang it. You saw a green cork? I can't. Oh.
This is lightly peated.
Oh, damn it.
I'm drinking it with you. Bart, you got a heathery peat. You had it. It's a Highland Park.
Oh, man.
A 20-year Highland Park.
Holy moly.
4.296.
Oh, no.
Highland, 56.1% ABV. We actually had a double cask maturation on this one. Started life in an ex-bourbon hogshead and then transferred to a refill ex-bourbon hogshead.
That's weird.
So, yep. It's very nice. So those tropical fruits. There is a light peat in here. Dan, you were getting it. You're thinking Glen Scotia and Campbelltown. But yeah, it's one of those refill hogsheads. Just very little cask influence on this, but it is nice.
So is it peated Highlands are so tricky because I've only had peated Highlands from Scotch Malt. Never had like a shelf bottle peated Highland, right? So I actually am not a big Highland fan. Like if we just go like a normal classic, like Highland Park 12 or something, I don't love that very much, but we've had so many peated Highlands from Scotch Malt that I was like, oh my gosh, I love peated Highlands. I think like what I need, I don't like just a little bit of smoke, but when you add the peat to the smoke, then I generally like it or something like that, right? That's how I justify it. That was so tropical and weirdly sweet, which must be the Highland Park aspect of it. And then you add the peat and get that weird, smoky, savory flavor or whatever. But
yep.
What was the proof on or the ABV?
56.7.
Man, it's low.
56.1.
Yeah, it was low.
So low.
Life Affirming is the name of that one. 4.296. That one's on the website right now, matter of fact.
That's 20 years old. That's wild. Yeah. Peated Scotch is so fickle on age.
Refill ex-bourbon hogshead. So that's not even, you'd have a first fill ex-bourbon hogshead and then a second fill ex-bourbon hogshead. After second fill, it's just a refill. So that's the third or fourth or fifth time there's been whiskey in that barrel. So it's very little wood impact and stuff on those. Yeah, very nice. Very deceiving though too. So Bart, you get the point on the age with 11. You was closest. It's a Highland, so nobody got a point on region. Everybody was too high with their ABV guesses, and you both got a half a point on the cask type. So a half a point for Dan on that round and 1.5 points for Bart. No extra credit points. Bart's still leading there with the one guess on sample number 2 of a deep, rich, and dried fruits.
Man. I would say we dropped the ball. That's so incredibly difficult. That one was so incredibly difficult.
Yeah. And now I feel like now I can smell the heather.
You could smell it before, you said.
I know, but it came late, and I was like, do I change? And I would have been more mad if I changed it.
Oh, and it wasn't a convincing amount, right? Like this is the other thing is it's like a hint rather than
it's
Yeah, nothing blew me away there. All right, now we're into the D.
We are up to the last sample. Bart is leading by 1 point. Coming into sample D, David, our 4th sample of the night.
Wow.
Oh, man, that smells awesome.
Yeah. Holy moly.
Ooh.
Huh.
Oh, I love the nose on this one so much.
T. Roy wants to know if that was a hand-picked bottle. Yep, I picked that one to put in the lineup.
I swear to God. You know what's going to... I feel like April Fool's 2023. Hear me out, right? We just run this the opposite direction, and only Scotch Malt employees are the people in the bracket. The people you had on and got to screw with get to pick bottles. Right?
I'll do it. Let's do it.
That actually would be a blast. Obviously, some of these are so insanely complex and difficult, but it is really fun to watch people who, like this is their, like, if you get Tom, like you get people who do this constantly. You do this a lot. Like you guys are really good with Scotch stuff, obviously. It's so much fun to watch somebody who's incredibly good at picking really minute differences and notes out.
Ben and I, and the thing, Leanne and Jason were talking about this last night, doing blind, tastings and just really trying to learn and just improve your palate and learn different aspects of whiskey, from age, region, things like that. It's with some of our whiskeys though, it's still a toss up because, single cask whiskeys at cask strength, no chill filtering, and you take, like the Craig Ellicky from earlier, that was exclusively matured in just the sherry bomb.
Right.
There's nothing on the shelf from Craig Ellicky like that.
Yeah.
Or we've got a Dalmore from I think November outturn that was in our spicy and dry profile. Had no sherry cask maturation to it. It was just ex-bourbon barrel.
Okay.
And there's no way blind you would ever guess or even think this is a Dalmore. Because they're just so different. They're so unique. So, I mean, it's challenging. But Ben and I, Jenna, we did a blind. Jenna set it up. Ben and I went against each other. And it was with 5 samples. And I think Ben did beat me by a half a point. But I think he had 12 points and I had 11 and a half. After 5 whiskeys. So, really, we're not too far off from where you guys are at. It's just it's tough to do blind.
Right. I have such a specific note on this whiskey that I don't know if I've ever gotten into Scotch before ever. So that's great. Looking forward to
just looking up distilleries here. I'm looking up distilleries on the phone.
Right? Goodness gracious.
I
don't that everybody, can we just hand Bart the belt right now?
No.
I'm so far. Oh my! I'm Santa at the South Pole. Like that's how far away I am from getting. Like this whiskey is crazy. I don't know what this is at all.
I know it is. The nose here is crazy, crazy sweet.
Are these allowed to be any Scotch Malt Whiskey Society bottles? Period.
Do what?
Are these, is the pool you're pulling from anything with a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society label on it?
Yeah, everything. This is all
any Scotch malt. Okay.
It's all Scotch whiskey. Yep. All single malt from the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, all Scotch whiskey bottles, all our bottles.
And it is single malts. It's none of the blends that they put out.
No blends. It could be a single grain or a single malt whiskey, but it's yeah. It's all Scotch.
Tar Pit was really good, by the way. Tar Pit was. I have a bottle of that Tar Pit blend. That was great.
Man,
that smells like cotton candy. This is completely ridiculous. We're out of pocket. This is not an appropriate sample. This was like a reward sample, not like a guess what it is sample. You know what I mean? This was a you think you know things, try to guess that one sample. That's what this is 100%.
Yeah, this is a flavor profile from you guys that I've never purchased. I can just tell.
I've never had Scotch that tastes like that ever. I don't believe that I have, at least.
Huh.
I love that. I'm like really in love with that.
That tells me nothing about the region though at all.
Nah. And that might be my favorite one of the whole night.
I got to keep looking at the label to refresh my memory on these as you guys are talking.
Man,
last sample of the night. Bart leading by 1 point.
It's not enough.
It's plenty. So my shot in the dark right now is just an age proof guess. You know what I'm saying? Like that's I need the age proof, and then realistically I'm expecting not to get the region or the finish because I feel like it's so non-specific.
Man.
That is the most marshmallow cream I've ever gotten on a Scotch. You know those? You guys ever have like you make like Rice Krispie treats with them? It's like in a jar. It's just marshmallow in a jar. You get it with a spoon. It's one of the greatest snacks of all time.
Yeah, it's going to come down to this one. I don't feel good on it. I watered her way down just to see if something showed up.
Scuba Summer or Saged Summer, as she used to have for her name, was watching Ben and I's blind challenge, and she says she remembers Ben went out of order.
Oh, he's cheating. Do you have a lot written down right now, Bart?
I've got them all down.
Dude, really? Wow.
But who knows? I mean,
That's fair.
I'm still following that deal where I'm trying to get most of it written down based on nose, and then coming in and tasting to see if I get a change.
I'm just pouring the rest of D right in the glass right now. That's where I'm at. I just literally poured the rest of it in.
You go suicide and put them all in together.
Okay, now here's the thing. If I do that and I get proof right, we know I'm full of shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
Eric Waite Whiskey Studies is tuning in now. First comment I've seen from Eric tonight, but he says, if you want an awesome hangover, add Drambuie to your whiskey. I got a bottle of Drambuie somewhere. I don't know where. Make some old rusty nails with.
Yep.
Scotch and Drambuie.
Good in the summer.
I only like a little bit of Drambuie. I mean, I think the official recipe is like half and half, or like
that's too much.
Yeah, it's like 3 parts Drambuie to 1 part Scotch, which is way too sweet. I'm probably a quarter Drambuie and 3 parts Scotch. Maybe.
That last one, I can't believe. Did you say that last one, C, was 20 years?
Yes.
That is crazy.
It is, yeah.
And that's what I'm doing here too, man. I'm just like, you got to be kidding me.
I honestly, on the nose on this one, and the same with the color of the actual whiskey, I don't feel like there's like very good hints towards the actual age of like, it's really sweet. I don't get any crazy like grainy youth notes or whatever.
Yeah,
like,
considering C is 20 years old and looks like that.
Yeah. And C was in 2 bourbon hogsheads, wasn't it? Wasn't that what it was?
Yep.
And it still looks like that. Like it's so crazy.
Yep.
All right. Well, I am ready to get the pain over. I think
I will get my ducks in a row here.
I think I'm in trouble here.
I just think we're both in trouble on this one.
This one's very perplexing. I like the first one with Whiskey Dick when I poured and I got Isla, and then I even knew what it was. I was like, yeah. I'm going to end strong.
That's a really good start.
Yeah, I knew I was ending strong, and here I'm ending like perplexed.
Is it perplexing like your shirts?
Yes.
All right, I got everything written down. I'm not scratching I did scratch region. I'm not scratching anything else out.
I changed the proof. I upped the proof.
Oh, I didn't up it.
I think I'm still too low, but I couldn't go crazy.
Really? Oh no, you and I have very different thoughts on the proof here.
Really? Okay, good. I think you're going to get me. Go.
There will be a definitive winner off this one.
Yeah. Who starts, Bruno? Who starts?
Bart, how old is it?
9 years.
I went 12. I honestly, I just have no freaking clue on the age.
Dan region.
I just went Campbelltown again. I crossed off Lowland because I don't even think I've had a Lowland before. I don't even know if I've ever had Lowland Scotch. I went Campbelltown again. You
could be right. I went Speyside.
That was my I do think Speyside's what every time I smell it, I'm like, is that just like a vanilla-y Speyside? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got a lot of vanilla.
Bart, ABV.
64.
Oh my gosh, we're so far apart.
I choked on it a couple times, so I was like, man, either I'm getting wrecked here, or it was a signal.
I went 57.
What?
I think 57. I think my tongue's numb.
I said wrecked it. You said you was wrecked, Bart, and I said wrecked him. Hell, damn near killed him. Cask type, Dan.
I went with a double, a twofer. I'm up in the ante here. I'd like 7 points off the finish. I went with a first fill ex-bourbon hogshead, and then I went with a second fill ex-bourbon barrel.
Wow, you may give me. I had first fill bourbon hogshead, just one. I get a lot of vanilla. I think it's a first fill.
Bart, flavor profile.
Oh, sweet, fruity, and mellow, and Cardew, I think is how. Yeah, Cardew.
Oh, I didn't guess distillery. That's okay. I don't know. I went juicy oak and vanilla for the flavor profile. I don't have a distillery guess.
Take a stab in the dark. Nothing. You might need it.
Hard bag.
Good call. Good call, brother. That was
just
that was
it's hard bag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was for style.
That's dumb.
I want to change my distillery. I want to change mine now.
Oh man!
All right, I'm going to calculate this up before I tell you guys who won.
That
man!
means
Before we have the unveiling,
it's close.
Comes down to this final bottle of whiskey. Which one was your favorite?
That means you picked up some on me. He's got to do some math.
Oh, we got all night then. What was your favorite whiskey of the bunch?
Boy, B really kind of, I kind of liked what B was doing there.
Sure.
So the first fill Oloroso or whatever, I think that was, I was picking that up. Nothing jumped,
Sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Right. What threw me was that damn 20-year Highland. Park.
Yeah. When you go back from smelling D to smelling B, and B literally smells like teriyaki now, like the seasoning or like, you know what I mean? Like,
ooh, yeah, it does.
You get that hint of like savory aspect, like it's a little savory.
That is interesting.
It's so. I think what that is. I think I'm just mixing it up with an actual like cask note, with it being heavily sherry finished. But
all right,
so I was wrong.
Bart got the extra credit point for sweet fruit. Another extra credit point for sweet.
Nice job.
Sweet fruity mellow.
That was. I just got sweet, is why I picked it.
So
I got vanilla, which is why I went with the one I went with.
This is cask G15.11. This is a single grain Scotch whiskey.
Oh Jesus!
Which
makes way more sense.
There's no points, anything associated with that. It's 13 years old. It's Loch Lomond Rossdew distillery, a Highland, double cask maturation, an ex-bourbon barrel, and then it was transferred to a refill ex-Trinidad rum barrel.
Oh, that's wild.
Which is all the sweetness, a lot of that sweetness that you're getting.
Sure.
Yeah, it was that rum.
It's so weird that it comes through as vanilla and marshmallow and stuff like that.
58.1% ABV.
Ooh.
Dan's eyes just got big.
Did he hit it?
Did we tie? I got the proof point. Did we just tie and I lost on a tiebreaker?
Nope, Dan won.
Oh, let's go. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Dan,
out of nowhere.
Yep. Dan got the age. Well, it's 13 years, so Dan had 12, so he gets the point there.
Nice.
He guessed 57% ABV. It's 58.1.
So he got
it. A point for the ABV. He did guess a double cask maturation, but he only got the ex-bourbon barrel or the ex-bourbon hogshead right, so a half a point for that. So he got 2.5 points. Bart, you were off on the age, the region, the ABV, and you got a half a point for the first fill bourbon hogshead.
Whiff with a tiebreaker double down.
Man, this was the most confusing blind I've ever done in my life. Like, I genuinely believe. Here's what I'd like to say: this 100%. If we went to shelf whiskey, like, because Scotch malt, like Bart or Scott said this earlier, that I can go buy a Kalila 12 or whatever off the shelf, right? And then Kalila from Scotch malt is very different than Kalila 12, right? If we did these blinds with I'll call it shelf Scotch rather than like these single barrels that are barrel proof and whatever, this wouldn't even be remotely close, because the things that I'm failing on that you're exceeding at are like the barrel finishes and the regions you're doing better than me. It's just a proof and age thing. Like, that's the things that I'm getting correct at this point.
No, you did good. That was a weird one.
That was wild. That was great. I love that whiskey a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's four good whiskeys. And again, I mean, there's some twists in there, but not too bad. And you guys both did good. I think both more points than you got last week. So Bart did have the tiebreaker, but we didn't have the tie.
Didn't matter.
You had the tiebreaker actually by 2. Like, it wasn't like you kind of had the tiebreaker. You literally exponentially had the tiebreaker.
I knew I was in trouble with that one. I was like, what is this? What is going on? And it was a dang Highland.
It's all right. It's very sweet, man, that rum barrel on that one. And even, it is sweet. There's a lot of kind of more citrusy, fruity, though. It's not necessarily, I don't know that I get a lot of rum notes, or that I would have said rum. I don't know if I've been sitting there and gotten molasses, or some of the different rum notes, but
I get just so much of that marshmallow vanilla. I don't know what it is. There's something I almost wrote. The only reason I reeled it in, I almost wrote like on the second finished barrel, I was like, man, maybe it's like a virgin toasted oak or something like that, because of all of the vanilla and sugar that I get. But then I looked at it, it's like it's really light in color, so it just doesn't make sense. But
I like Bart's method of going bold on the cast type, because when you guess second fill X bourbon hogshead, you've got a chance at 1 point. I mean, you're going to get if it's a bourbon barrel, a refill, a first fill, second fill, you're going to get the half a point. But if you hit it on the head, you get the full point.
Yeah.
So
actually, there's the only reason I went. What'd you say, Bart?
I'm pouring the Isla from the other last week.
Bart's going back to happy memories.
That's right. Back to when I nailed it, just like sprinted forward.
Honestly, with that one, the last one we just did, it's just and the 20-year Highland immediately ruins all of the ideology you have about figuring out how old a whiskey is. Yeah, because you drink it, it was phenomenal, and it was complex and really difficult to figure out. But I didn't equate any of those factors to age, right? And obviously some of them were actually, but then you go to the next one and you're like, I don't know, the last one was 20. This one could be 75 years old. I have no idea,
Well, and really the color is kind of the trap on that 20-year-old Highland Park, because they're both refill hogsheads, very little cask influence. It's pretty pale. And that's probably where, dark colored whiskey glasses would help, because you wouldn't be able to see the color, and then you would kind of get that more complexity and a little bit more of the impact of the flavors on that one. But maybe you were tainted a little bit by the color, and you're thinking, well, it can't be that old. Look at the color.
For sure. Or it can't be like, that's why, and that was like I said, like they're reeling it in on like that's a virgin oak barrel, and you're like, it's not dark though. Even if at 7 years old, this would be darker. You know what I mean? If it was virgin oak or something. But
I would have never reached all the way out to 20 though. Can you imagine if Dan would have said 20 years old, I would have been like,
yeah.
And then he would have nailed it.
You're like, cheater immediately.
I would have been like, then he would have been like, it's 20. I would have been like, shut up, man. What you
Or like his Ardbeg, go big, go bold, or go home. So
man, that's so wild.
Well, congratulations, Dan.
Thank you.
Well
I appreciate it.
Well done, brother.
Bart, listen, you nailed several things. Obviously, that was super close. Came down to literally the last sample. You got 2 extra credits. I got 0. And if those were points, you would have won. You got to blame Scott at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he threw that rum finish in there. Tricky.
And the first time I smelled D, I swear to God, I'm like, this is one of the American Scotch malt releases. Like, this is one of the American whiskey Scotch malt releases. Because it's so vanilla-y. It's just so sweet. It's just not, it's not as malty on the nose, at least. But
yeah. Well, next Friday, Dan, you'll be going up against Jason, Mash and Drum.
Yeah, you're all over the proofs, man. You're gonna kill him on the proofs.
I've been doing good on proofs. We're in Advent right now, so we're doing 24 videos in 24 days, and proof is one of the things. And no, the proof thing has been going. What time are we going next Friday, Scott?
It should be 8 p.m. Eastern again. We can probably adjust it if we need to accommodate.
I'm good. If 8 p.m. works for Jason, I'm good. I just wanted to make sure. So.
Okay. Yep. We'll check and make sure. Congratulations, Bart. Job well done.
Hey, good competition. Well done, Dan. Yeah. Well done.
Cheers. Hey, cheers to you. Cheers, Bart.
Yep. Cheers.
As we say on the back of Scotch Malt Whiskey Society bottles, remember, Scotch Malt Whiskey Society whiskey's not for swigging, glugging, or knocking back. Please drink responsibly. Cheers.
Cheers.